Ibrahim Awwad Ibrahim Ali al-Badri al-Samarrai, formerly also known as Dr. Ibrahim and Abu Dua, most commonly known by the nom de guerre Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, and in an attempt to claim him as a descendant of Prophet Muhammad, more recently as Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi al-Husseini al-Qurashi and now as Amir al-Mu'minin Caliph Ibrahim, has been named the Khalifa head of state and theocratic absolute monarch of the self-proclaimed Islamic State located in western Iraq and northeastern Syria. He is the former leader of the Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant, alternatively translated as the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. On October 4, 2011, the U.S. State Department listed al-Baghdadi as a specially designated global terrorist and announced a reward of $10 million for information leading to his capture or death. Only Ayman al-Zawahiri, chief of the global al-Qaeda organization, merits a larger reward. Background: al-Baghdadi is believed to have been born near Samarra, Iraq, in 1971. Reports suggest that he was a mullah in a mosque at around the time of the US-led 2003 invasion of Iraq. He earned a master's degree and a PhD in Islamic Studies from the University of Islamic Sciences in the Baghdad suburb of Amir. Militant activity: after the US invasion of Iraq in 2003, al-Baghdadi reportedly led several smaller militant groups before being promoted to a seat on the Majlis al-Shura of the Mujahideen in the Judicial Council of the Islamic State of Iraq. According to Department of Defense records, al-Baghdadi was held at Camp Bucca as a civilian internee by U.S. forces Iraq from early February 2004 until early December 2004, when he was released. A combined review and release board recommended the unconditional release of al-Baghdadi and there is no record of him being held at any other time. As leader of the Islamic State in Iraq, the Islamic State of Iraq also known as Al-Qaeda in Iraq or Al-Qaeda was the Iraqi division of the international Islamist militant organization Al-Qaeda. Al-Baghdadi was announced as leader of the ISI on May 16, 2010. Following the death of his predecessor Abu Umar al-Baghdadi in a raid the month before. As leader of the ISI, al-Baghdadi was responsible for managing and directing large-scale operations such as the 28 August 2011 attack on the al-Qura Mosque in Baghdad that killed prominent Sunni lawmaker Khalid al-Fadawi. Between March and April 2011, the ISI claimed 23 attacks south of Baghdad, all of which were alleged to have been carried out under al-Baghdadi's command. Following the U.S. commando raid on May 2, 2011 in Abbottabad, Pakistan that killed al-Qaeda supreme leader Osama bin Laden, al-Baghdadi released a statement eulogizing bin Laden and threatened violent retaliation for his death. On May 5, 2011, al-Baghdadi claimed responsibility for an attack in Hilla that killed 24 policemen and wounded 72 others. On August 15, 2011, a wave of ISI suicide attacks beginning in Mosul resulted in 70 deaths. Shortly thereafter, the ISI pledged on its website to carry out 100 attacks across Iraq in retaliation for bin Laden's death. It stated that this campaign would feature various methods of attack, including raids, suicide attacks, roadside bombs and small arms attacks, in all cities and rural areas across the country. On December 22, 2011, a series of coordinated car bombings and IED attacks struck over a dozen neighborhoods across Baghdad, killing at least 63 people and wounding 180. The assault came just days after the U.S. completed its troop withdrawal from the country. On December 26, the ISI released a statement on jihadist internet forums claiming credit for the operation, stating that the targets of the Baghdad attack were accurately surveyed and explored, and that the operations were distributed between targeting security headquarters, military patrols and gatherings of the filthy ones of the al-Dawjal Army, Shia warlord Muqtada al-Assad's Mahdi Army. On December 2, 2012, Iraqi officials claimed that they had captured al-Baghdadi in Baghdad following a 2-month tracking operation. Officials claimed that they had also seized a list containing the names and locations of other al-Qaeda operatives. However, this claim was rejected by the ISI. In an interview with Al Jazeera on December 7, 2012, Iraq's acting interior minister said that the arrested man was not al-Baghdadi, but rather a section commander in charge of an area stretching from the northern outskirts of Baghdad to Taiji. As leader of the Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant, al-Baghdadi remained leader of the ISI until its formal expansion into Syria in 2013, when in a statement on April 8, 2013, he announced the formation of the Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant, alternatively translated from the Arabic as Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. As the leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi took charge of running all ISIS activity in Iraq and Syria. When announcing the formation of ISIS, al-Baghdadi stated that the Syrian civil war jihadist faction, Jabhat al-Nusra also known as al-Nusra Front had been an extension of the ISI in Syria and was now to be merged with ISIS. The leader of Jabhat al-Nusra, Abu Muhammad al-Jawlani, disputed this merging of the two groups and appealed to al-Qaeda Amir Ayman al-Zawahiri, who issued a statement that ISIS should be abolished and that al-Baghdadi should confine his group's activities to Iraq. Al-Baghdadi, however, dismissed al-Zawahiri's ruling and took control of a reported 80% of Jabhat al-Nusra's foreign fighters. In January 2014, ISIS expelled Jabhat al-Nusra from the Syrian city of Raqqa, and in the same month clashes between the two in Syria's Deir ez-Zor governorate killed hundreds of fighters and displaced tens of thousands of civilians. In February 2014, al-Qaeda disavowed any relations with ISIS. According to several Western sources, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi and ISIS received financing and recruited fighters through Saudi Arabian and Qatari citizens' recruitment drives. As Caliph of the Islamic State, on June 29, 2014, ISIS announced the establishment of a caliphate. Al-Baghdadi was named its caliph, to be known as Caliph Ibrahim, and the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant was renamed the Islamic State. There has been much debate across the Muslim world about the legitimacy of these moves. The declaration of a caliphate has been heavily criticized by Middle Eastern governments and other jihadist groups, and by Sunni Muslim theologians and historians. Yusuf al-Qaradawi, a prominent scholar living in Qatar stated, "The declaration issued by the Islamic State is void under Sharia and has dangerous consequences for the Sunnis in Iraq and for the revolt in Syria," adding that the title of caliph can only be given by the entire Muslim nation, not by a single group. On July 2, 2014, al-Baghdadi announced that ISIS would march on Rome in its quest to establish an Islamic State from the Middle East across Europe, saying that he would conquer both Rome and Spain in this endeavor. On July 5, 2014, a video was released apparently showing al-Baghdadi making a speech at the Great Mosque of al-Nuri in Mosul, northern Iraq. A representative of the Iraqi government denied that the video was of al-Baghdadi, calling it a farce. However, both the BBC and the Associated Press quoted unnamed Iraqi officials as saying that the man in the video was believed to be al-Baghdadi. In the video, al-Baghdadi declared himself as the world leader of Muslims and called on Muslims everywhere to support him. References